start standing. The energy's a bit low. All right, let's go this way for a change. So begin standing with your feet hip width distance apart and toes pointing forward. Also wave at me if you can't hear me. All right, and then bring the toes down, spreading the toes out onto your mat, bending your knees, maybe exaggerating the bending to find a place where your knees feel comfortable. And then tucking in your belly button and finding a place where your spine, your hips are in the center. So pushing your hips forward, pulling your hips back, finding the place where your hips feel just about right in the center. And then pulling your belly button up towards the spine and drawing your shoulders back, chin parallel to the floor. And then taking a few deep breaths and just centering and grounding into the floor beneath you. A nice strong position from the feet all the way up to the top of your head. And then dropping the shoulders down, opening the mouth slightly, loosening the jaw. And a couple of deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, inhaling, bring the arms up, bring the fingers all the way up to the ceiling, and then exhale, bend the knees and hinging at the hips, coming all the way down. Inhale, lengthening forward, exhale, folding all the way down. Inhale, hands come forward. Exhale, legs come back, one and then the other. Inhaling into your plank position, and then knees, chest, and chin all the way down. Bring the forearms forward. And inhale, opening the chest, pulling the shoulders back, looking up. And exhale, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale onto the knees. And exhale, pushing up into your downward dog. Nice deep breaths. Bring your hands a little bit wider and your feet a little bit wider. Bending your knees, pushing the hips up, and then slowly bring one heel and the other heel towards the floor. Stretching out the back of the legs, back of the shoulders, all the way down the arms. And then as you inhale, looking forward towards the hands, and taking little steps, bring the feet all the way to your hands, bending your knees. And then inhale, lengthening forward. Exhale, keeping the knees bent, folding down. And then inhale, bent knees, bring your hands up. And then tracing a line upwards with your hands as you come up. And exhale, bring your arms down. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands come forward. Exhale, legs come back. Coming into plank, and then knees, chest, and chin, or all the way down into plank. Inhale, bring the forearms forward, or the hands a little bit closer to your shoulders, and inhale, pulling up. Pulling the shoulders back, looking up, taking more than one breath here. And then exhale, folding down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, inhale onto the knees. And exhale, all the way back into your downward dog. Nice deep breaths, moving as it feels right for you here. So maybe you're patting your feet, or maybe you're staying still. Maybe you're waving your spine. Nice deep breaths through the nose. Stretching out your back. And then inhale, looking towards the hands. Step, walk, or jump your feet forward. Keeping the knees bent. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, bent knees, straight back, going up with your hands. Exhale, folding the hands down. And one more time. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding again all the way down. Inhale, bring the hands forward. Exhale, bring the legs back, stepping or jumping. Inhaling to plank, and then knees, chest, and chin, or all the way down, nice and straight. Inhale, bring the hands forward, rolling the shoulders back, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, hands underneath the shoulders, onto the hips, and exhale. Downward dog. Nice deep breaths. Should start to feel a little bit easier now. And one more deep breath here. And then inhale, look into the hands. Walk, step, or jump the feet forward. Inhale, lengthening out. Exhale, keeping the knees bent, bending all the way down. And then inhale, bent knees straight back. Coming up with your fingers. And exhale. Nice. Okay, and then inhale, bring the feet again, hip width distance apart. Placing the hands on the hips. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, hinging forward, coming down, bending your knees when you feel that your back is starting to round, and then taking hold of your big toes with 2 fingers and a thumb, or taking hold of the sides of your feet. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, folding down. Nice deep breath. So as you inhale, you're lengthening forward. As you exhale, folding all the way down. And a few more deep breaths here. And then inhale, straightening out the arms, and place your hands underneath your feet so that your toes are in contact with the creases of your wrists, bending the knees as much as you need to in order to do that. And then inhale, lengthen forward, and exhale very slowly, same thing, coming down, pulling your shoulder blades away from your ears. Nice deep breaths. Maybe this time you don't go as far. So inhaling, lengthening forward, exhale, ever so gently folding down. Letting go of your neck and head. Nice deep breaths. And one more inhale. And then on your next inhale, taking your hands out from underneath your feet. As you exhale, placing your hands on your hips, and then inhale nice and slowly with bent knees and a straight back, coming all the way back up. Not too fast, otherwise you get dizzy. Okay, and then rolling the shoulders, letting go of the arms. Take a nice big step down your mat. So your right foot is pointing to your right, left foot in slightly. Inhale, bring the right hand down towards the legs, and then twisting from your hip up through your spine, shoulders, neck, and head, either looking straight in front of you or up towards the ceiling or the sky, opening the chest. Nice deep breaths. Pulling in the muscles below your belly button for stability. And the extra challenge here is to smile, even if you don't feel like. Nice deep breath. And one more deep breath. And then exhale, coming down, bending the front knee slightly. Inhale, coming up. Changing the feet, bring your right foot in a little bit, left foot points out towards the left. And then reaching out and then turning. Bring your hand down to your leg, twist from your hip up through your spine, shoulders, neck, and head. Again, either looking straight in front of you or up towards the ceiling. Pulling in the muscles below the belly button, leaving enough space to breathe. Nice deep breaths. And then exhale, looking down, bending the knees slightly, inhale, coming up. Bringing the feet towards the center, bringing the toes inward slightly, and placing your hands on your hips. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, slowly folding forward, just like before. And this time, bring the hands down to the floor, either hands in front of the feet or in line with your feet, whatever feels more comfortable. Inhale, lengthening forward. Exhale, folding down nice and slowly and gently. So you come to that place where the back of your legs feels like it's stretched just about enough, and then letting go of your neck and head forward. Keeping your shoulders pulled away from your ears. Nice deep breaths. You can test a little bit here and see what happens if you bend your knees slightly. And then inhaling, bring the hands out far in front of you, so you're reaching with your fingers, but your feet remain in the same place. And then again, stretching down towards your feet with your torso. Nice deep breaths. Stretching out your spine, stretching out the back of your legs. And then inhale, slowly bring the hands back towards your feet. And then as you exhale again, placing your hands on your hips. And as you inhale, nice and slow, coming all the way back up, straight spine. And letting go of the hands, letting go of the legs, have a little shake. And then coming back to the front of your mat, bringing your feet hip width distance apart. And again, taking a big step down, big but not as big as before. So a smaller step down your mat, turning to your right. So you're facing to your right. You're squaring your hips forward. You might want to leave a space between your feet so you've got a little bit more room to balance. And then place your hands behind your back, taking hold of your elbows. And inhale, opening the chest up. And as you exhale, little bit of a bend in the front knee. And you're slowly coming forward. So you want to try and stay square, keeping your nose in front of your big toe. And again, as always, come to a place where you feel comfortable. And then inhale, lengthening forward. Exhale, folding down. And just reaching the point where you feel okay. And then dropping your neck and head down. You're also balancing here, so be careful as you come down. If you feel really, really wobbly, then you can bring your hands just in front of you, but otherwise keeping your hands tucked behind you. Feeling that stretch in the back of your front leg and maybe also in your hip. Nice deep breaths. And one more deep breath here. And then inhale, slowly coming all the way back up. Keeping that little bit of a bend in the front knee. And twisting over to the other side. So coming over to your left. Squaring your hips again. Maybe making sure that there's a space between your feet. And inhale, looking up, opening the chest. Exhale, folding forward, keeping a little bit of a bend in the front knee. And again, inhale, you're pointing your nose directly above your front toe. Finding a place you feel comfortable. And then inhale, lengthening forward. Exhale, folding down. Feeling that stretch in the front leg. You're trying to pull your front leg as straight as possible, but it's completely fine to have a little bit of a bend in your knee. And then once you get comfortable-ish, dropping your neck and head down. Nice deep breaths, keeping the balance. One more deep breath. And inhale, nice and slowly, coming all the way back up. And again, letting go of the neck, letting go of the neck, letting go of the hands and the legs, and have a little shake. And we're going to do one more vinyasa before we come back to the floor. So, bringing the feet hip width distance apart again. Inhale, opening the arms, but really as you open them, rotating your arms back and over. Bring your hands up towards the ceiling, stretching up. And then exhale, folding down, bending the knees. Inhale, lengthening forward. Exhale, folding all the way down. Inhale, hands come forward. Exhale, legs come back. Inhale to plank. And then nice and slowly keep your elbows tucked next to you, coming all the way down in plank. Inhale, bring the forearms forward. As you inhale, rolling the shoulders back, looking up. Nice deep breaths. Even though it's quite hard to breathe in this position. Exhale, coming down. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale. And then we're going to take a brief child's pose before we come down to the floor. So bring your knees out to the side. Hips towards the heels and stretching out. And just take a few moments here. Nice and relaxed. Stretching out your spine. Letting go of your neck and head. Relaxing down into the floor. Nice. And inhale, slowly coming back up to all fours. And then crossing the legs and rolling back to seated, or just coming back to seated in whichever way you like. Bring the feet and legs forward. And then slowly out. So we're going to start again nice and gently. If you have a cushion or something that you would like to sit on to make it a little bit easier for yourself to come into a forward bending position, that's also fine. Or you can keep your knees bent, whatever's more comfortable for you. And then first of all, just sitting straight. So your back needs to be straight. It doesn't really matter what your legs are doing so much. And placing your hands in a place that you feel comfortable, rolling your shoulders back. And just taking a moment here. Again, just to ground into the floor beneath you. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And just focusing on your breath. And firstly, just watching the breath. We're going to do our breath work in the middle of our session today, just to mix things up. So just noticing how you're breathing, noticing if you're breathing deeply or shallow, fast or slow. Doesn't really matter what you're doing. Just beginning to notice the breath moving into the lungs, expanding the belly, and coming back out again. And also, if your jaw is tense, just allowing yourself to, sometimes it helps to really over-exaggerate it. So just opening your mouth and releasing your jaw. And maybe your mouth ends up slightly open, that's okay. And then starting to take more deliberate, deep breaths. So beginning with the belly breathing, so you can place your hands on your belly if that makes it easier to guide your breath. So as you inhale, imagine that you're filling your body from the bottom and coming up. So as you inhale, you're expanding first the belly, then the abdomen, then the chest, And as you exhale, you're squeezing air out first from the chest, then the abdomen, and then you're sucking the belly button up towards the spine. And again, as you inhale, you're filling up from the bottom of your belly, through the abdomen, and then up towards your collarbones. And as you exhale, you're squeezing in from the chest, through the abdomen, and then all the way in through the belly. And then just continuing in your own time. It's a bit of an over-exaggeration, because of course you breathe into your lungs first. But it's a good way to imagine air going all the way down to your belly first, to make sure that you're breathing in as much as is possible, as you're expanding your capacity. So just continuing in your own time. Don't worry if your chest feels a bit tight. You're just focusing mostly on air, expanding your belly first, making all the way up. So this is our very simple breathing exercise today. I'm not going to do anything more complicated than this. And just a couple more rounds, really making this exercise your own. And this is something very simple and easy to do. Very meditative when you're feeling a bit stressed or anxious, stressed or anxious, to just follow your breath, guide your breath all the way down, expanding your capacity to breathe as much as possible. And to ground you back into yourself. And then with your next exhale, releasing the practice. And then we're just going to move again with the breath, with the arms, just to bring a little bit back, a little bit of movement back into the body. So as you inhale, bring the arms up. And as you exhale, bring them down. And then inhale. And exhale. And then again, inhale. And exhale, bring your hands to shoulder height. And then we're going to do the same as we did a couple of weeks ago. So as you inhale, twisting over to the left. And as you exhale, twisting over to the right. And inhale. And maybe you want to change the pattern of movement a little bit. So you inhale into the middle, exhale over to the side, inhale into the middle, just to make it a little bit slower. Exhale over to the side, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. And then inhaling back into the middle. Exhale, letting go of the shoulders, maybe having a little shake. And then from this position where we are with our feet, we're going to inhale, rising up from the hips, and exhale, coming forward a little bit. So nice and slowly, as before, inhaling, reaching forward, exhaling, coming down, trying to keep the chest and the chin open. So we're coming down with the entire torso, not just with the top of the head. Nice and slowly. Some days this is easier, some days it's harder. Some days the hips are more open, other days they're really not. So wherever you land, don't worry. Go to the place that you feel you need to go. And then just breathe very deeply into it and into the back of your legs, into your groin, into the inside of your legs. Whatever feels tense, just very slowly allowing it to relax and become a little bit more flexible. Sometimes you feel that one leg is a lot tighter than the other. That's also okay. Just go very gently. And one more deep breath. And inhale, nice and slowly coming up. And then because we've had the legs out like this for a long time, very gently bringing them back in and crossing the shins. Bring your hands down to your hips, and then without using your legs, inhale, lifting up, and then exhale, coming forward or rolling forward as your shins are crossed and coming back into plank. Inhale, nice and straight plank all the way down. And then inhale, rolling up. If your back is feeling flexible enough, then you can keep your hands underneath your shoulders, rolling up towards the ceiling. Exhale, coming down. And then inhale, coming onto the knees, and exhale, pushing up into your downward dog. Nice deep breaths. Opening up the upper spine. Really pulling your shoulder blades away from one another. Nice deep breath. And then inhale, coming back onto knees, crossing the shins and rolling back. We're coming into seated again. And where are we going? And we're going to do some nice gentle twists again. So rolling back onto your spine. Bring your knees into the center. Bring your hands out shoulder height. And we're going to play around with this in a couple of different directions. So first of all, most simply, inhale and bring your legs over to the left. And as you exhale, bringing your gaze and your head over to the right. Nice deep breaths. When your legs are on the floor, just allow them to melt into the ground and allow your shoulders to melt also back into the ground. So nice deep breaths with very little effort in your body once you're in position. And again, just checking what your jaw is doing, so allowing your jaw to relax and stay open. And then inhale, bring the gaze back to the center. And coming the legs up. Exhale, bring the legs over to the right and bring your gaze over to the left. Again, placing your legs and your arms in situ and then just relaxing down into the floor. And then inhale, bring the gaze and the legs back into the center. And then crossing your right leg over your left leg. Dropping your legs over once again to your left. And then turning and twisting your gaze and your right shoulder over to the right. And again, trying to get as comfortable as you can on the ground and then trying to relax into it. And then inhale, bring your gaze back to the center. Bring the legs back to the center. And crossing the legs. You're crossing your left leg over your right leg. And then hooking them round if that feels comfortable. Dropping your legs over to the right. And bring your gaze over to the left. And letting go of the arms. Nice deep breaths. And relaxing into the floor as much as possible. And inhale, coming back into the center, arm crossing the legs. Bring the feet up towards the ceiling. And apart from having a little wiggle with your toes, which you might want to do, we are going to bring the knees into the chest. And just firstly, just very gently rocking from side to side. We're going to go into baby pose again to open the hips as we've just been doing before. So bringing your feet up towards the ceiling, but starting to bend your knees and bring the knees towards the floor, taking hold of the underside of your feet, so on the outside and underside of your feet. And again, just very gently rocking. So here we're placing our body in a certain position and allowing gravity to do the rest. So you've got your elbows on the outside of your legs to allow the knees to come down. And again, very gently, you can stay here statically, or you can bring one knee and then the other knee down very slowly towards the floor. You have to not go too far in one direction, otherwise end up rolling. But if you do decide to start rocking, then using the breath to guide you. So up to you, you can inhale into the middle and exhale however long your breath is, but moving with the breath. And just very gently opening one hip and then the other hip out. Happy baby posture. I don't remember the Sanskrit name for this posture. It doesn't come up very often in Ashtanga for sure. But it's such a lovely stretch in your hips and groin, and it's so effortless compared to lots of other asanas. So just a few more deep breaths. And then we'll be doing a vinyasa to then come back to the floor. Okay, so coming back into the center, bringing your knees together again, taking hold, crossing the shins and taking hold of the feet. And inhale, rolling back. And exhale, rocking forward, rolling all the way up into seated. And then coming forward onto your hands and knees. And bring the legs back into plank, inhaling, and then you can come down, knees, chest and chin, or very slowly down and plank. Inhale, rolling the shoulders up, and up and down, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, coming down, bring hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale onto the knees and exhale, downward dog. Nice big stretch down here. Nice deep breaths. Looking just between the feet. And pulling the heels down towards the floor. And then inhale, looking forward. And bringing the knees forward, pressing the shins and sitting back. We're going to go very slowly into our closing sequence so we can have a nice long shavasana. So coming down onto your back. Firstly, we're going to do our bridge, which is part of our closing sequence. So bring the feet towards the hips and then either taking hold of the heels or placing your hands just next to your spine or interlacing your fingers underneath your back, whichever way you choose to do it. Inhale and push the hips up towards the ceiling. Nice deep breaths, making sure that your knees stay as parallel as possible. And opening up the chest and the hips. Should feel a nice burning sensation in your thighs. Nice deep breaths. And then exhale, slowly rolling the spine back down. You can bring your knees into your chest if you want. We're going to do this 3 times today. And if you're feeling loose enough, then we're going to go all the way up into the full bridge posture. It's very warm and humid here today, so it's much easier to be loosey-goosey. So nice deep breath. Even here. And then exhale, placing the feet again close to the hips. Place your hands where they feel comfortable. And then inhale. Bring the hips up towards the ceiling. Nice deep breaths. Try and keep your feet flat on the ground. And one more deep breath here. And exhale, coming all the way back down. And again, bring the knees into your chest if that feels comfortable for you, or just placing the knees together just for a moment. And we're going to repeat it one more time so you can go back to this bridge position, or if you want to go up into the full bridge, up to you. There's no pressure, it's your practice, plus you're at home so you can do what you want. So you start with the feet in the same place as before, and either you come up just as we've done, or if you want to go into full bridge, then you bring your hands behind you, fingers towards you, bring your hands somewhere between your shoulders and your ears. Inhale, bring the hips up first, and then as you exhale, you press into the floor, come onto your head first. You can stay here if you feel comfortable. You can push up, open your chest, and looking out or looking towards the floor. Nice deep breaths. Don't overdo it. If you haven't done it for a long time, you can stay on your head. And then tucking your chin into your chest. And then wherever you are, coming all the way back down when you're ready. And then again, bring the knees into the chest. And gently rocking from side to side or tracing circles with your lower back, or whatever feels good for you. And then we're going to do one last vinyasa before we go into our final closing sequence. So crossing the shins in front of you, taking hold of the feet. Inhale, rocking back. Exhale, rocking forward, coming seated. And then placing your hands next to your hips. And inhale, pushing the hips up. And rolling forward, coming onto your hands and knees. Bring the legs back into plank. And exhale, coming down. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, coming down, coming onto the knees. And as you exhale, downward dog. Last one of the day, I promise. Nice deep breaths, opening up the shoulders and the hips, back of the spine, dropping your neck and head down. Spreading your toes and your fingers. And then as you inhale, coming back onto your knees, crossing the hips, the shins, rolling back into seated. And coming back onto your back on the floor. And coming into the closing sequence. So, Chaturanga or candlestick posture. You can very legitimately do one just like this and keep your feet up in the air. Or if you have to go into the full thing, bring your feet up over the head. And then placing your hands on your back. Inhale and pressing your feet up towards the ceiling. Don't look away, don't move your neck when you're here. So if you're unsure, come back out of it and then have a look. Keeping your feet up and your toes up towards the ceiling. And here, about 8 of your own deep breaths. Making sure that a lot of the weight is in the back of your hand, in the back of your arms. And that not too much of it is on your neck. And then once you've finished, bring your feet up and over your head, placing your knees on or close to your forehead, or keeping the legs straight if your toes are on the floor, hands down on the ground, and 4 to 5 of your own deep breaths. And then slowly, and using your arms, rolling your spine all the way back down to the ground. Bending your knees if it becomes too much for your lower back, or if you just don't have any space. And then coming up, finding your space so you have enough space to put your feet all the way up. And then coming into Matsyasana, fish pose. So coming up onto your forearms and then popping your chest up on the ground so that most of the weight is on the top of your head and on the back of your arms and obviously on your legs. Nice deep breaths, about 4 of your own deep breaths here. The counter posture to the sequence that we've just done. And then when you're ready, tucking your chin back towards your chest to come all the way down. And then just making sure that you make yourself as comfortable as you can for your Shavasana. So maybe that means moving around a little bit beforehand. Maybe that means finding some socks or a blanket or a jumper or anything else that you need to make the next 10 minutes comfortable as possible. It's very warm here, so I definitely don't need a blanket or a cushion this time. But once you're ready, and finding a position that's making you as comfortable as you can on the floor, and bring your feet out to the sides of your mat, feet falling out, and hands to the sides, palms facing up. And then, yeah, getting a cushion or a blanket or anything to make this as comfortable as you can. So if you do have a little bit of discomfort in your lower back, you can always place a cushion under your spine or a cushion under your neck, or both. Under your knees as well is quite nice sometimes. And just allowing the breath to return to normal, letting go of the way in which you were breathing. Closing the eyes. And just letting go of the practice. So allowing the breath to return to normal. And beginning to scan your body from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Just releasing any tension. And releasing any tension in the top of your head, in your forehead, in your eyes, in your ears, and even in your nose. Releasing any tension in your mouth, tongue, and jaw. So once again, maybe allowing your mouth to be slightly open. Releasing any tension in your neck, throat, and in your collarbones. Releasing any tension in your shoulders and down the arms, elbows, your wrists and your fingers. Releasing any tension down your spine, upper spine, middle spine, lower spine. Releasing any tension in your chest, your ribs, your abdomen. Releasing any tension in your hips, pelvis, thighs, down the back of your leg. Relaxing the knees, calves, shins, and releasing any tension in your ankles and your toes. And just allowing your whole body to melt into the floor. So that with each inhale, you feel that you rise maybe a little bit above your mat. And with each exhale, you feel as though you're sinking into the floor. Inhaling as you float, and exhaling as you sink. And for the next few minutes, just completely allowing yourself to relax. And now to go, nothing to do, nowhere to be. With a complete surrender into the ground. distract you. Just acknowledging and allowing them to pass. Watching film with your thoughts passing by you. Thoughts and sounds entering landscapes around the heart. And gently coming back to your breath. Just noticing as you inhale and as you exhale. Noticing the sensation of the breath passing through your nose. Noticing the gentle rising and falling of the chest. And more deliberate inhale and exhales, filling your whole body like we did before. From the belly all the way up into the collarbone of the chest. Filling your whole body with fresh air. And just becoming aware of the outline of your body on the floor. And the weight of your body on the floor, and the floor pushing back on your body. And starting to bring a little bit of movement back to your toes, to your fingers. It would work keeping your eyes closed. And your wrists into your ankles. you're ready, bringing your arms up and over your head and taking a big morning stretch. Bringing your hands and your feet together. And a little bit of movement back also to your neck. And then again, keeping your eyes closed, and when you're ready, bring your knees into your chest, and gently hugging the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. And if you like, just gently rolling slightly from side to side, just massaging your lower back. And then again, keeping the eyes closed. When you're ready, rolling over to your right side, using your arm or your hand as a pillow, and just allowing yourself to melt into the floor one more time. So again, just for a moment, nowhere to go, 2. Eyes closed. You're in time. Slowly bringing yourself back up to a comfortably seated position, whatever that might be. And starting to grow into the space above your head. And then rolling your shoulders down. And just taking a moment to thank yourself for having taken an hour out of your day for a little bit of self-love and care. Bringing a little bit of gratitude into the practice. And when you're ready, slowly opening the eyes, becoming aware again of where you are and who you are. Thank you very much.